And this time we'll be interviewing GPS1 and final year project 1. So let's go. Can you help me open? Alright. So I believe this side will be GPS1. So let's begin with the first game. Are you okay with interviewing? Alright. So which one is your game? Alright. Alright. So first of all, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your game project and the role you did in it?
My my name is Bill. Um, I'm a tech. I'm just a normal tech.
Alright.
So I just code whatever my tech lead gives me.
I mean, do you know any? Could you just tell us a small intro about the game?
Alright, so basically this game is a stealth horror game with a bit of exploration. So what you're supposed in this game you are this guy right here. Um, there's a demon that is inside your head, okay, and he's guiding you through the levels. Right? So this game is set in in like an abandoned mansion. So you're supposed to traverse the mansion while being guided by this demon.
Being
You're
chased,
sup-
right?
Sorry?
Guided
No,
or chased?
guided.
Wow, so the demon helps the player?
Yes.
Oh,
Because in this game there's other monsters here
I
to
see.
chase you as well.
So what's the difference between the monster and the demon?
The demon helps you, the monster hurts you.
Okay. So what is your game called?
See no evil, hear no evil.
Sorry?
See no evil, hear no evil.
I see. All right. So first of all, how did you come up with the initial concept of the game? How did your team come up with that?
Um, we basically pitch a lot of our favorite game, like not really all of our favorite games, just most of the games that we think will be interesting with the team, and then we just, we create like our own version of the game,
I see.
and then we pitch to the lecturers, and the lecturers choose one.
I see. So you just choose like a genre specific and you ran with it, is it?
Um, technically, because the theme is the lecturer gave the lecturer gave us a theme.
What was the theme specifically?
The theme was
Existential horror. Theme was existential horror to begin with.
Could you introduce yourself and your role in the project?
My name is Chandra. I'm the lead designer of See No Evil, Hear No Evil. We basically, as I said before, we pitched 3 different ideas and I ended up being selected. See No Evil, Hear No Evil is a horror stealth survival, horror stealth exploration game. Yeah, essentially. You basically take control of a character who's being possessed by a demon. This demon keeps stalking the character's head, annoying them, essentially. Also tells them where to go, essentially.
I see. All right. So could you show some gameplay from it?
Sure.
Yeah. And then one of you play, then I'll ask the question to the other one. All right. So I'll ask you.
This is the opening cutscene that shows the player like waking up.
I see. So I'm gonna ask. The next question is, what do you think the players will enjoy the most about your game?
I guess as of right now, it depends. As of right now, I'd say the story. I put a lot of work into the story. Actually, there's quite a few lines of dialogue. Not everyone might be into the story, but at least the story that I've written up is actually quite successful. And also the main gameplay loop, which is running around, exploring the house and avoiding the monsters. I say also quite something that.
So for the story wise, is it something that everyone contributes, or do you have one lead writer for it?
I am the lead writer.
I see.
I'm the one who wrote all the story, put everything together essentially.
All right. I mean, you can go ahead and play. We'll just show.
This is basically the starting dialogue. Like the player character asks where they are. They've woken up in an unfamiliar room, and you see this very handsome fellow.
Yes, that's right.
And this is the demon that speaks in their head. They talk to him a lot throughout the game. There are several story bits that another house mechanic, and Originally, the game was supposed to have actually spoken dialogue, but due to complications, couldn't do it in time.
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
And essentially, this is just the main character and the story character just bantering between each other. There isn't much importance here. You can go through this in your own time if you want to.
Oh, so there's a skip option.
There is a skip option, yes. Press enter to skip everything. For those who don't like reading, of course. Every time one of these dialogue things come up, the journal will be updated. Essentially, the journal is what the player character is actually thinking about, what he writes down, essentially, that kind of thing. It's actually
So I'll ask you while the viewers get a viewing of the gameplay. So how would you describe your experience in developing the game with your team?
How do I describe it?
Like, any stresses? Do you find it fun?
I won't think it's stress. It's not really stressful. So all in all, the team is pretty okay. It's just, of course, there are some problems with the communication wise and stuff like that. That one is unavoidable. But all in all, it's okay with developing the team. Yeah.
So it worked pretty smoothly lah. No like argument in like concept or like mechanics wise. Like everyone is like pretty straightforward with the flow.
I won't say it's pretty straightforward with the flow. There are definitely some up and downs of it due to maybe some people, I don't know. I'm not going to go into detail. But at the end of the day, we came up with how to say, the more like the static mechanics of the game, and we tried to not change that. Of course, we did add more into that mechanics. And yeah, but other than that, it's pretty
Pretty
I guess
standard.
it's pretty standard. Yeah.
All right. So obviously, with all the experience, there has to be challenges. And what kind of challenges do you think is like the biggest, like the most difficult during development?
I would say, okay, this is more of like the way we do things.
I mean, personal opinion lah.
It's, I guess, integrating all the things together and making sure they all work with one another. Like because something just doesn't work with this and something.
Like taking the design ideas and putting them into like the game itself, like cohesiveness with all the mechanics, is it?
Yes.
I see. Uh, so I'll ask you while playing the same question. In your opinion, how would you describe your experience in developing this game with your team?
I'd say it was quite a interesting experience. It's my first time working with people who I don't really know in person other than Bill. Of course.
Strangers. Yep.
But I guess, of course, communications issues are a hard thing to ignore. I say that there are some points where I have not communicated properly and ended up not noticing a problem until it's too late.
I see.
So, everything is a learning experience. I thought this is GPS 1. There's still a lot to learn with GPS 2.
Valuable, you learn a lot.
Valuable experiences. Essentially.
Okay, so with that, any final note to our viewers? Anything you
No,
wanna
but
say?
okay. Thank you all for watching. Have a good time.
How about you, Bill?
May I recite a poem?
Sure, go ahead. It's your words.
Roses are red. Birds can fly. Existence is pain. I just wanna die.
Okay. So with that said, thank you for your time and for the interview. So please check out See No Evil, Hear No Evil from GPSY in Area 51 lab. All right, thank you. Let's move on to the next game. Are you one of the developers for this game? Would you mind if giving an interview and answering a few questions for our live stream?
Sure.
Okay, so so let's begin with just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your game and your role in it.
So I'm Kenny. I'm the game designer and the project lead. I'm also the sole designer for the game. This game is called Silver Lining. It's a 2D narrative-driven puzzle platformer game where you play as a robot in a world where there's no other living things left alive, and you start to wonder why you're the only thing left alive, and you go find a purpose for your own existence. That's
Alright, so when you say narrative, is it like more like a text based or is it like something
There's no text or dialogue at all.
so it's more like the players have to figure out by
Yeah.
playing, is it?
Yeah.
It's embedded. I see. That's interesting. So how did you come up with the initial concept of this game?
So the game is the idea first came up from a show called Love Death Robots. There is an episode where there's 3 robots exploring Earth, so that's where the inspiration came from. And in terms of like the gameplay and stuff, it's inspired from games like Limbo and Inside, where it's like a very seamless experience from start to end, no interruption of cutscene and dialogue. It's just very gameplay focused. Yeah,
Trying to basically teach with actions.
yeah.
I see. It's interesting. So with that said, which part of the game do you think your players will enjoy the most?
Definitely the art and like just the art, the atmosphere and everything, all the visual stuff of the game. Definitely.
The art.
It showed I go into
So could you describe a little bit about the art direction? If,
So the art direction is post-apocalyptic, and we made it so everything is very gloomy at the start, and at the end of the game, you are greeted with a very bright orange sunrise. It's sort of like the design of the whole game, where you move from the pit, from like the bottom of the pit, all the way to a mountain, like the top of a mountain. It's like the story, like slowly from a point of despair to a point of hope, from
I
bottom
see.
to top, from
So-
a very gloomy, desaturated background to like a very bright orange sunrise.
picture does tell 100, so it's not just the mechanics, the art as well tells the story. So with that said, art and mechanics are quite very separated, right? Okay. So how would you describe like with the art team and the design team like putting them all together? How do you guys manage that?
Obviously, it's just a lot of communication. And I'm the project manager and also the designer, so I had to talk to everyone, had to ask what they're doing, and let them know what has to be done and what should be done by this time by that time.
So there's a lot of interactions with your team. How would you describe the experience with your developing this game with your team?
I would say stressful.
Stressful.
But
Any
in the
reason?
end, the end result is something we are satisfied.
I mean, stressful but rewarding, hopefully.
Sort of.
So when you say stressful, which part was the most stressful? Like specifically?
Because this semester's this year's Jingle Mingle came a lot sooner. So unlike regular GPS or game projects, we had like 3 months to develop. We only had 2.5 months and even lesser to make this whole game.
2.5. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's more like deadlines and deadlines, right? Oh, okay. So is there like any? So most of it was just crunching. Was there like any big bugs or any?
Of course, there's a lot of game breaking stuff, but we eventually removed and like fixed it. But in the end, there's still bugs, but minor.
I see. So, yep, that's about it. Any other than that, any other biggest challenges? That's the last question.
It's just working together as a team. That's like the
Was
biggest challenge.
was there like a lot of clash with like concepts
there's-
and like I want to do this, I want to do this?
There's not really a lot of clash and friction, like friction. It's just getting everyone together and
Just getting to know each other's work ethic.
yeah.
I see. Alright. So that's all. Any final note to our viewers? Anything you want to say?
Game development is a scam.
Alright, so your game was silver. Alright. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for your interview. That was Kenny from the game Silver Lining. Please come and check out in Area 51 Lab, GPS 1. Alright. So let's move on to the next game. Any of you, would you mind doing the interview? It's just 5 questions. 5 questions if you don't mind.
Yes.
Alright, so first of all, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your. Just
Is it okay with this? Do I need to take it
no,
out?
no, it's fine, it's fine. So okay, I'll repeat. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your game and your role in it.
Oh, my name is Johnson. This is my game Agent Chong Wei. It's a 2D action platform shooting game where you take place as a Malaysia. I take a lot of inspiration from like Malaysia locations or some of their words. You play as an agent that in Malaysia you need to discover like some of the behind scene about like corruption and things. And I'm a design lead on this game. I created the level and some of the mechanics. Yes.
Any reason why you decided to do like Malaysia based, like specifically?
At first the idea was agent, so like a shooting game. But then we think about it, we can make it like and then it ties to the Mr. Bean movie where you play as a. So we were thinking of like comedy, and then, but like how to say, like Western country agent is very common, so we try to make our own version, Malaysian style of agent. So yeah, that's the idea of it.
Based on your personal. So like from there, why specifically like Agent Joy? How did you come up with the initial concept? Like why choose this genre of games?
Uh,
I mean, do you think it's fun or it's one of your favorite?
is at first I was thinking like something simple,
I
like
see. I
like
mean,
platforming shooting is okay with it, and at the same time it's also suit kind of like the theme that we're going, like the
fits
agent thinking, yeah.
the narrative.
So that's how come up with the genre.
Alright, take a picture of the gameplay. Yeah, so while the viewers see. So, what do you think players will most enjoy about your game?
I think the viewer enjoy the combat, how the fast pace, like how fast paced is this on the shooting part, and then there's on the level also some control movement on they're going through the level, and then some of there are three bosses that people that challenge it will like it.
It's a personal. This is a personal question for me. How challenging are the bosses? I'm a big fan of those
Is
difficult.
is I think I have to at least die
Punishing?
to it to like 5 times or 4 times.
So yeah, players have to learn the pattern. Is it? I
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
A smart move. Okay. So okay, with that said, how would you describe your experience in developing this game with your team?
Oh.
Yeah. Any
Oh.
good? Is it good? Is it
It,
bad?
it it's okay. This is our first GPS one. It's our first project. It's quite a lot of things new experience, but
Are the people you're working with like people you know or they're just
no,
strangers?
I've never met them before.
Ah.
Like it's totally eight strangers that I never met before, never talked before. But it turned out good. I quite like it. Responsibility is yeah good.
So
Yeah.
I'll take that pause as you know that there are some bad things of it happened in development and like so the next question is what's the biggest challenges in development for this game?
Uh, Communications.
Communication.
Yeah, because working with totally strangers, yeah, and then it's swapping with ideas, like everyone.
It's a lot of clash.
Yeah, a lot of clash, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So how do you guys like overall decide? Is it like a Democrat or eventually just how do you guys like settle the clash? Like is it
Yeah, we talk it out.
talk it out?
With vote and meetings, like I think when we have clash that time, right? I think during the week, every day we are meeting at like yeah, 2 hours meeting longs. we're like discussing almost
Very democratic. All right. All right. So that's all. Any final note or words to our viewers before we go?
Oh, no.
No.
No?
Nothing. Okay. All right. So that's all from Johnson. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnson from GPS One. Agent Chongwick. Please come to Area 51 lab and check it out. Thank you. All right, so right now we'll be moving on to FYP2. Uh, let's see. All right. Are any of you the developers for this game?
Yeah, all three of us are.
Would you mind if we're giving an interview for our live stream?
Sure.
Yep, just 5 questions. All right.
Okay.
First of all, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your game and your role in it.
So I'm Maganase. I'm a designer on Project Tempur.
Mm.
This is a 2D, 3D beat 'em up inspired by a local martial arts called Silat.
Ah, alright. Uh, okay. So, how did you come up with the initial concept for this game?
We wanted to make a combat game because most of us on our team had a lot of experience doing puzzle games. So we wanted something
New.
different, yeah,
Ah.
something a new challenge to take on.
Ah.
So we narrowed it down to like fighting games or like hack 'em ups, beat 'em ups, and then we landed on a beat 'em up that has a very specific kind of Malaysian flavor to it.
So, alright. So, how would you describe the experience for switching from puzzle type with your team from puzzle based to fighting game? How would you describe that
It's
change?
definitely difficult.
Difficult.
Yeah, because most of us also it's our first time working together.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, there are challenges in communication. There are challenges in design, also in tech. So yeah, it's definitely been difficult, but it's definitely a lesson for us.
Could one of your teammates play the game while they
Yes,
film? And,
could you play the game for a bit?
so that there are a lot of type of fighting. So how would you describe the gameplay, like the core loop of it?
Um, it's going around the streets of KL and then beating up
Uh,
like thugs
I see.
and delinquents and
Cleaning
yeah,
up per se.
yeah, like cleaning up the streets lah basically.
I see.
So there is a story behind it, but in the demo itself there is no like story or narrative component to it right now lah.
All right. So, what do you think your players will enjoy the most about your game?
Hopefully the combat and the art style. So because it's a mix of 3D and 2D, we hope that they find it pretty unique and that because it's based in Malaysia, they can find something familiar in it lah.
Easter eggs.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
okay, so fighting game, is it kind of like Street Fighter with those crazy combos or?
It's more like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle beat 'em up games.
Right, that's
So
the retro type.
we want to
I see.
harken back to those kind of classic games lah.
With the Malaysian vibe. I
Yeah.
see, I see. Okay, so the next question is how would you describe your experience in developing this game with your team?
Um, it's been a challenge, but there is some satisfaction to be gained when we get things right, and then but then it's always like constantly there are new challenges, and
So overcome together.
yeah.
I see. So like since you guys are new and when you guys bring up ideas, brainstorm, were there like any clash, any big arguments or like?
Yeah,
how-
there's definitely that kind of stuff because it's our first time working together.
Uh-huh.
So we have different ideas, and then sometimes when we explain those ideas, people might think about it differently. But
So-
then we have to like discuss it to get to a point where everybody understands the
Compromise,
mechanic, the design. Yeah.
So you mentioned that there were a lot of challenges, right? What would you say are the biggest one?
Um,
Maybe technical, maybe communication, maybe design.
it's definitely communication, lah.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially on the art side of things,
Ah,
because we want to do. It's a mix, right? It's pixel art, but it's also 3D.
ah.
So it's hard to like give references because there aren't that many games that do that, and especially because of the Malaysian setting. So it's yeah, that's been the biggest challenge lah to game.
You mentioned so while that was the biggest challenge. Is there any reason why you wanted to do pixel and both 3D?
Because we only have one artist, and
Uh-huh.
he's actually really good at 2D.
Ah,
So, but given like the scale of the game, it's a bit too much for him to do both the characters and the scenery.
I see.
So we have a designer who's doing support for the art,
Ah.
and she's better at 3D lah. So we thought that with those two expertise, we can pull it off with a 2D 3D hybrid.
I see. So it's more about managing your resource and skills.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the question. So the last question is any final words or note to the viewers?
You can come over to lab and try out our game and then give us some feedback lah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So that was Nas. Thank you, Nas, from Project Tempo from FYP1. Please check it out in Game 51, Game Lab 51. All right. Let's move on. What you want to do? What you want to do the interview? All right. Okay. So first of all, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the game and your role in it.
Alright, so my name is Trish. My full name is Trish Neshwanagi. You can call me Trish, and I'm the tech. And I've been working on the UI, the main menu, and everything.
I see.
So as a UI as a UI engineer, all the main menu and the transitions and the animations for the buttons and also controller support is all made by me. The game is actually about a female protagonist. She is not good with studies, so her
see.
parents got mad and they took away her birthday cake on her birthday. Since she likes eating sweets a lot, she got really mad and she somehow transported into a fantasy world.
I see.
And the fantasy world is what she wanted. It's a world full of sweets. And basically the game is about her finding her cake back.
So that is quite a bit of a deep storyline. Is that like thoroughly expressed in the game, or is it?
Yes.
Just the premise in.
We do have narrations later,
see.
later on for dialogue boxes and stuff. For now, we haven't actually put the narration in it, but in the future updates there will be narration.
So you're planning for the narration to be more text-based than like subtlety with images and stuff?
Yes.
I see. Okay. So the question is, first question is, how did you come up with initial concept of the game?
So the initial concept is by putting Genshin Impact's combat and AI,
I see.
and also the storyline is just based on Alice in Wonderland.
Ah.
So yeah, those are the narrative and the combat areas.
Is there any reason why you chose Genshin Impact or Alice in the Wonderland?
Since we were going for a younger
Audience?
audience for, so we're planning on like a game that goes towards Nintendo style.
I see.
So it's more cartoonish and colorful, and yeah, that's why we went for this art style.
Alright. So you keep asking the question, but can one of your teammates play the game to show our viewers?
Yeah, sure. Someone play the game.
Alright. So while the viewers see the game, the next question is, what do you think your players will enjoy the most about your game?
I think the aspect of fighting the AI and also trying to combine the switching the weapons and also going into the sugar rush mode. They have to like strategize on how much they're using the sugar rush mode and stuff. So there is a bit of strategy in the game. They do have to think about how and when they want to use it. And there is a lot of parkour. There's parkour puzzles and stuff in the game. So those will be in the narration part as well. And there will be quests given by the NPCs in the game.
Oh, so there are like narrative quests, like side stories in that.
Yes.
So the game is like mostly focused on like obstacle trailing and action, right?
Yes.
So when you describe how the fight combat system is obviously quite complex, for the players to learn and get used to.
Yeah.
So is there is there any like reason why you want to make complex despite being quite kid friendly?
I mean, it is kid friendly according to the controls and stuff,
Uh,
but it I can't say it's too advanced.
so you mentioned, so to me it kind of sounds advanced. So how would you like translate those complex getting into the controls?
The
How would you describe that experience?
the only complex thing is not the only complex thing is only how they strategize on using the ultimate ability. That is all. It's all the combat and the movement, the controls, everything is similar to Nintendo. Simple.
It's one
controls.
button, one action.
Yes.
I see. All right. So it's an interesting idea. With that said, how would you describe your experience in developing this game with your team?
It is really fun. We also did learn Unreal Engine because this is the first time some of us were working on Unreal Engine, and we had a lot of fun learning it. Working together as a team. There's literally 9 of us, with a lot of tech. So we did, I guess we did the impossible since in GPS1 we have made a well prototype, almost full flash game, and we do have a lot of space to refine even more.
So the team for this game is similar from GPS1. So you all knew each other before, or there are some strangers mixed in?
We are the same group from GPS1, and also our group name Apple Pie is also the same. Um, I guess we can say we're kind of like an industry right now.
So since you guys obviously have experience as a studio together, right? So would you describe any big challenges? Like, were there still any arguments or like clash of concepts?
I guess concepts, there's not much of clash. We always kind of agree to what we want, and we do give our own insights on what we want and what we don't want it. But there do sometimes have clashes when we're building the game. But as tech, we do um, communicate with each other, and we do actually share every progress that we do. That's why we have actually came this far.
I see. All right. So that's about it. One last question is, any final note or any words for our viewers?
Um, do test our game a lot. Once it's released, it's actually a really fun game. So, yeah, miss Sweet Suffering.
All right. So thank you for that. That was a developer for Sweet Suffering. So please come check it out at Area 51 Lab, FYP1. Right. All right.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. So yeah. So that's actually all the time we had. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 8 p.m. for the last interview, and that'll be all. Bye bye. I can't believe that went.